Contrast. This is when you have two opposites right next to each other. You can use the differences in the elements of art. For example, black and white, or for texture you could have smooth and soft. Most likely you will have opposing counterparts. When describing contrast, it is highly important that you describe the opposites that are near each other. Do you ever feel like there are two parts to your personality, like Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? You wish Mr. Nice was always around, but sometimes that Mr. Mean just happens to surface? I just showed you an example of contrast. Now let's apply it. Here are examples of contrast within the artwork. Let's see what the opposing counterparts are. In this two-dimensional painting of a giraffe at sunset, the artist uses techniques to represent the principle of contrast. The artist uses color and value here to create the contrast and create the visual interest. The dark values of the silhouettes of the trees and giraffe contrast against the lighter colors of the sunset sky. The sun also creates contrast by placing a bright white circle against the dark red background of the sky. This three-dimensional sculpture of the Diwali star lantern represents the principle of contrast with the painted surface designs. Here the artist uses contrasting colors, values, and shapes to create the visual interest. The bright red and dark black designs painted on the surface contrast against the bright pink background of the star. The designs themselves also are painted with curving organic shapes, which contrast with the sharp geometric edges of the form of the star. This black and white digital photo of the boy jumping represents the principle of contrast. The artist uses a range of value, shape, and movement to create the contrast and visual interest. The plain white background shows a stark contrast from the dark values of the figure of the boy and the branches that are contained within his body shape. The flat white background also shows contrast with the movement of the body. The flat white background also shows contrast with the movement of the boy jumping, as well as the movement of the branches within his shape. In the video, we see contrast in the following way. The steady, still, light blue sky contrasts with the moving dark brown and black bald eagle flapping its wings in the air. The ice cream elements of design ingredients combine to demonstrate the principles of design, which is contrast. To create opposing elements, this sundae uses contrasting value and texture. The contrasting value shows the light of the ice cream against the dark of the cookie crumbles, which creates visual interest. There is also the contrast of textures against the rough and bumpy cookie crumbles and the smooth, soft texture of the ice cream and the banana.